Good evening, citizens of Louisburg Town Council, and welcome to our February Louisburg Town Hall meeting. We begin our meeting by having a roll call in the absence of our town clerk due to illness. Sean will call the roll.
Mayor Neal,
Here.
Councilman Clancy,
Here.
Councilman Stover,
Here.
Councilwoman Baker, Councilwoman Woods, Councilwoman Wright, Councilwoman Stein.
Okay. Item number 2, the invocation. Councilwoman Wright, can we have you to give our invocation, please?
If you are able to stand. Most holy, everlasting, eternal God, we come to you once again, thanking you for another day. Thank you, Lord, for those that have come out and assembled for this meeting. Thank you, Lord, for everything you're doing for us here in Louisburg and in Franklin County. Thank you, Lord, for just being with us on our daily journeys. Give us the mindset to love one another. That's why we are here, Lord, to do the things that are pleasing in your sight and not our sight. Thank you, Lord, for everything you're doing and what you have yet to do for us. These and other blessings I ask in your most precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
All of the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Okay, Council. Item number 4 on the agenda, the adoption of the agenda. Could I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
Second.
Mayor, I have a question about the agenda. We, in the December meeting, tabled the adoption of the order to close Johnson Street to this meeting, but the order from our December meeting regarding Johnson Street is different than what's on this agenda. Should it not be the same information? Would have included a traffic study that is no longer in this packet.
Can I speak on that?
Yes,
sir?
you can.
So Councilwoman Stein, the traffic count had already been taken care of. And once we updated that, that didn't need to be in there for this particular meeting.
By taken care of, we never discussed it.
It was in the previous meeting back in November.
We didn't discuss the traffic count. Mr. Slater did not provide or include the traffic study in the November meeting. It was put in the packet on the docket in December. And since it was tabled, no discussion regarding it was had.
I did call Mr. Slater just to confirm, and he said that he did share that information. I did not check the minutes, but he stated he shared the traffic count.
I challenge that, but that's fine.
Okay, as we move forward, can the audience hear everybody? Okay. All right, it's been moved and properly second that we adopt tonight's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item number 5, the approval of the minutes. We have several minutes for the January 4th regular closed session minutes, special call meetings, the closed session January 23rd, February 3rd, and the 5th. Those closed session meetings were for personnel in discussion with the interviewing and hiring of a new fire chief. And that process is still ongoing. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
May I make a motion, we approve all the minutes, January 14th, the regular and closed session meeting, the special call meeting, closed session meeting, January 23rd, February 3rd, and 5th.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the minutes for the dates given, January 14th, regular closed session minutes, special call meeting, the closed sessions for January 23rd, February 3rd, and February 5th. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, item number 6 is public comments. I see that we have several people who want to come up and speak. I ask that you keep your comments at 3 minutes. You will be timed. And once you give the signal, the 3 minutes is up, we'll like to ask you to end your comments. Okay, and you ought to, when you come to the podium, be prepared to give your name and address for the record. Okay, I have here Mr. David Bunn. Mr. Bunn, you can come forward there to the podium.
My name is David Bunn, 200 Pine Ridge Road, a Zebulon address, just outside of the town of Bunn. Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. I come before you tonight as the chairman of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners. I'm here tonight to ask y'all to consider closing West Johnson Street and sell Franklin County the strip of land we need for parking. If y'all agree to this, that will allow for the courthouse to remain in downtown. Without these two things, the courthouse will have to leave downtown. And I personally think keeping the courthouse in downtown is important for the downtown business, community, and downtown as a whole. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. I have a statement our county attorney has prepared. I'm going to read aloud. Based upon polling of the Board of Commissioners, the board agrees to pay 100% of the cost of relocation of all the utilities, power, water, and sewer. If the town will approve the closure of West Johnson Street and to sell parcel ID 031340 at fair market value. If the town approves the closure of West Johnson Street and agrees to the terms and purposes agreement, the county commissioners will consider and approve the formal agreement on 2/17/2025. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next is Charlotte Murray.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlotte Murphy. I'm here on behalf of Lawrence Edward Tickle. His wife just had a baby yesterday, so he couldn't be here. So, dear Town Council and Mayor Neal, I'm not a resident. Oh, sorry, I didn't say the address.
Please.
My address is 105 South Main Street, Louisburg. But dear Town Council and Mayor Neal, I'm not a resident of town limits, but I live at 27549. I have spent over $450,000 purchasing 2 properties in town since 2021. Planned on spending more. I shop here and pay my taxes and utility bills here. The town entered into a contract to close the street and is now backing out. This course of action will cause the courthouse to move to Walmart. The county is not bluffing. What will happen when that happens? Here's what happens. First, Walmart, the corporate developer who owns that shopping center, will see record profits for that. Courthouse population shifts from downtown to that area. This shift will not only include the parties attending court, but also the 14+ law firms and their employees. I have 3 employees myself. The clerks, guessing around 20 to 30, the deputies who provide security, the visiting attorneys and their staff, the support businesses, bonds and mental health treatments services, the district attorneys and their staff, the probation officers, and so forth. Second, the property values of downtown will fall as the businesses relocate to the new courthouse. Low values equals lower revenue. Third, The non-judicial businesses will fail, including the restaurants, coffee shops, and thrift stores. Fourth, Johnson Street will remain open, but will hardly be used. Fifth, the flea market behind the courthouse will go out of business. Those hundreds of cars coming each day for court will vanish. People will have no reason to drive back and forth there except for the locals who cut through. Sixth, the visible degradation and decay of the downtown area will result in the voters choosing to vote in different and new councilmen. This consequence will be a direct result of listening to the loudest crowd. And finally, based on all this, I implore you to honor the town's original agreement that will keep the courthouse where it's been for the past 150 plus years. Downtown Louisburg has been on the upswing after decades of downfall. Please don't be responsible for steering downtown back to where it was 15 or so years ago. Sincerely, Lawrence Edward Tickle. Thank you.
Andrea Wooten.
Hi, my name is Andrea Wooden. I'm at 134 Strange Road in Louisburg. I just have a couple of quick things. First, I just want to say thank you for the signs at the crosswalk downtown. They are making a difference. It's slow to happen, but cars are starting to stop, and that's amazing. I really appreciate it. And other citizens do too. People have commented on it. My other thing is if the Parks and Rec Department could take a look at Riverbend Park. There are several broken swings. Some of those wood pillars are just kind of laying around. It's just in a bit of disrepair. And with spring coming, I'm sure the kids would like to have use of all the swings. My last thing is just as a business owner downtown, I get no business from the courthouse one way or another. It moving would not affect the majority of the businesses. Those people usually come in for court and then they typically leave. I have an opinion other than that, just to say as a business owner, I don't think I'll go out of business with the courthouse being there or not being there. Thank you.
Johnny Clifton Sr.
Good afternoon, Mayor, and all the city councilmen. My name is Johnny Clifton, 114 Pop Road, Louisburg, North Carolina. I'm here today representing the Southside Neighborhood Association. We are proud to have you guys doing the job you are doing. It's basically just phenomenal what y'all are doing for us. And my committee, I would like for the Southside, if anyone here from the Southside, please stand. While I present Mayor Neil Manuel, I'd like you to come out to him mine. I have a presentation. Don't move, that move a little fast, because my time is running. We just like to, on behalf of the Southside, we appreciate everything you guys are doing. And once we want to just present a check to the town of Louisburg and the Recreation Department from the South Side for $1,000.
Ms. Joanne Shea.
Hello, my name is Joanne Shea, and I live at 118 Edgewood Drive, Louisburg, 27549. I'm here to talk about the courthouse. I have lived here 15 years. I'm from the north, and that courthouse is just a symbol of everything that we've gone through, the whole country has gone through. It's just a sturdy building that needs to stay where it is. And I worked at many restaurants downtown, and the majority of the people that came to the restaurants were the attorneys and their clients and their staff. I am so nervous. But so I'm just telling you, please, to keep the courthouse where it is and open up the door, the road, and it'll be so much better for everybody. Thank you.
Next is Shakartis Austin. Sure.
Good evening. I'm here in representation of my mother, Carolyn Jones. My name is Shabartis Austin. Mayor. Mayor, good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Real quick, 3 minutes. My address is 127 Grant Street, Louisburg, North Carolina. I'm just here with a couple of things. First thing is Southside needs signs. They don't have any signs showing what the address is. The signs that they have are old. I feel like they need new signs as well. Second thing, Domino's does not deliver to the south side after 4 o'clock. Reason being, because they said that we are a violent area. We do have elderly people that cannot get out, that does not drive at night, that would like to order food. I do oppose that we do a boycott against the business for our elderly on the south side. They will only deliver from the laundromat on to the courthouse. Other than that, they will not deliver from backwards to the courthouse. Third, recreational. I feel like we need more things for our children to do. Summertime is coming up. I know parents don't have enough money right now to do daycare. So I feel like we need to do something else besides the Boys and Girls Club. There is 2 pools in Franklin County that we cannot go to. And I'm talking about us as individuals. Some can, some can't. I feel like we need to open them up to the public. I feel like the buildings that we have in Franklin County that are not being used need to be used or can be used for recreational, such as bowling, skating, something for these children to do instead of just being on the street doing any and whatever thing. Fourth thing, I feel like some of these empty buildings, we do have Black business owners that are coming in the year of 2025. I myself is one. I feel like some of these buildings that they do have can be used for Black business owners. I can only count 2 on my hand in Franklin County. I do open that up too as a discussion. Thank you.
Buzzy Gardner.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Bud. My home address is 109 Tanbark Court, and my business address is 201 Court Street, Louisburg. I was born and raised here, right on the 3rd floor of the hospital, right on Main Street. And I've been here all my life, except when I went away to school and I had a job with the federal government for about 3 years and went to law school. This is the finest place in the world to grow up, to be a kid. We rode our bicycles downtown all the way, all over town. It was always very safe. We would like for you to close Johnson Street and leave the courthouse in town. When I was a little boy, we had a huge snowstorm. I helped my daddy put chains on the tires of the car. We came downtown from 561 and could not find a parking place. AC Taylor Hardware, where 210 Nash is now, had the doors open, sleds outside, toys outside, and we had to drive around the park. Everybody had chains on the tires. Every business was full. We had at least 4 men's and ladies' clothing shops. They carried boys and girls' clothing too. We had 2 hardware stores downtown, one of which is where the courthouse is now. We had everything. We were the last road, though, out of Wake County to not be 4-laned. And now we have a 4-lane. Louisburg is coming back. You remember the years when there was nothing downtown but us lawyers, Ted at the pharmacy, and just one or two other things. Our coffee shop, the bookstore closed that was down near the theater. The theater closed. We had nothing downtown. We couldn't eat lunch downtown. Now business is coming back. Some of our friends have appeared before you all to ask that we make downtown a social district like Franklinton has. Honestly, I never turned on Main Street in Franklinton until I've been practicing law 10 years. I went to Wake Forest. I came home that way. I went to Duke University to visit friends and family. I never turned on Main Street until now. Franklinton is booming, but we're on the way to do the same thing. We've got fine restaurants here. We've got fine places for people to gather. When I was that age, when I was 7 or 8 years old, we had more than 20 lawyers in Louisburg. Now I don't believe, even with, we've got several New York lawyers here tonight, and they're fantastic. And they come back to Louisburg to practice. They come to Louisburg to practice. We had more than 20 lawyers in Louisburg, and now we don't have 20 lawyers in the county. There were 3 or 4 in Franklinton. We can do that again, especially with that 4-lane. Louisburg is great. We want to continue to grow. If the courthouse is moved, that'll kill the restaurant business because lunch is the biggest meal around here downtown. Always has been. We have 2 places you can get wings. We have a pub, we have a brewery, places for concerts, food trucks. Concerts. This is the place we need to keep. And if we shut down that big building, there won't be anything left of downtown again, and it won't come back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Sue Anthony.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We appreciate y'all and your consideration in inviting us here and listening to us in considering our opinions. My name is Sue Anthony. I own the building at 107 North Church Street. In fact, in 2019, y'all, meaning the town of Louisburg, sold it to me. I read a couple of times quotes from some town officials in the Franklin Times that the town of Louisburg made some money off of that deal. I hope you did. I hope it was a good deal for you because it's been a really good deal for me. I've enjoyed being in Louisburg. I've enjoyed having my business in Louisburg. I moved into that building in January 2020. Pretty much every workday since January 2020, I have driven, I guess it would be north on Main Street to get to my office at 107 North Church Street. Only on 2 or 3 occasions on those many times when I've driven have I ever used Johnson Street. It's just not used. It doesn't have to be used by people like me who have their businesses up there in that part of town. The county has said the street has to be closed. I haven't studied the plans. I don't get it, but here's what I do know. I came to Louisburg because of the town. I came from Wake Forest. I saw Wake Forest go from 5,000 people to 50,000 people. I chose to leave Wake Forest and come here. Louisburg is a special place. Special bar, great lawyers who have been my colleagues and my friends, but y'all have a great downtown. If the courthouse were to leave, that is going to be really detrimental to Louisburg. And I hope y'all envision that. I hope y'all see that. It won't just be detrimental to the legal community. It's going to be detrimental to the community. And I hope y'all consider that and think of that. And those of you who I know have very deep roots and are charged with the responsibility of keeping Louisburg a positive, productive, good place to be, that transplants like me want to come to. If the courthouse were to leave, it's going to change things up. It just is. Thank y'all. And I'm nervous too, and I stand in front of judges all the time. Thank y'all for listening to my quavering.
Jeff Thompson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Town Council. My name is Jeff Thompson. My address is 226 Peach Orchard Road in Louisburg. It's outside town limits, however. I own a building at 103 South Main Street. I'm an attorney in town. I can't say anything more than Buzzy or Sue's already said about why it's important that the courthouse stay downtown. But I will give you a double entendre. I had to look up today, make sure I had the right definition. A double entendre is a phrase that has two meanings. And I'm going to give you that double entendre. Man, look what they've done to this town. They, meaning town council. You're going to hear that phrase in about 3 to 4 years. Man, look what they've done to this downtown. And it's either going to be, man, look what they've done to this downtown. Or it's going to be, look what they've done to this downtown. If you want this town to flourish, you've got to keep the courthouse here. If the courthouse moves behind Walmart, the attorneys are going to stick around for a while, but the restaurants are going to slowly move out and be behind Walmart because that's where 500 people break for. The attorneys are slowly going to move out. The mom and pop businesses are going to slowly move out. And it's going to be, man, look what they've done to that town. Y'all have the opportunity tonight to make that, man, look what they've done to this town. And I hope you do that. Thank you very much.
Shelley Dickerson.
Good evening. My name is Shelley Dickerson. I'm your Franklin County Clerk of Court, and I'm also a resident of Franklin County. My address is 230 Leonard Road, Louisburg, North Carolina. But I also own property in downtown Louisburg on the Cornice 1 building, which is right there with the clock, corner of Nash and Main, and also on the building right beside y'all's building, which is Cornerstone 2. So I'm heavily invested in downtown. And I grew up in Louisburg, have always been here, except for when my husband joined the military and we moved out for a while. But I also have fond memories of downtown. Ted Gupton with Harris Pharmacy is my cousin, and I remember going in there as a little girl, going to get a soda. And everybody remembers that back door going into Belt Liggett. So we go through there. I also remember getting my first speeding ticket when I was 16. My daddy was so mad he would not help me. And this is when they didn't have the annex then. They just had the main historic courthouse. And so here I am, 16. I was so nervous. And I go upstairs and I didn't know what to do. So I just sat there and I listened to everybody else, see what they were doing. I said, I'm going to do that too. So I got up and I just pled guilty, I think, to a 63 and a 55 and paid my fine and went on my way. It was a good learning experience. So the historic courthouse means a lot to me. I very much enjoy my job. I invest a lot of time and my energy and love what I do as clerk of court. And tonight I'm asking you to close Johnson Street and please keep the courthouse downtown. On a little different perspective than everybody else, I get to meet with a lot of clerks of court across the state. There's 100 of us. And a lot of towns and counties do not have the relationships that we do here. We are really good. We may have our little ups and downs sometimes, but we always come back together. I've never seen a time where we didn't come back together, and that is good. I see other people that can't even talk to each other anymore, and that's a shame. Another thing I see happening is that by statute, the county has to provide adequate facilities for the courthouse. Some counties, they just go and design everything and they never have input from their judicial partners. I will tell you that has not been the case with us. Myself and my judicial partners have designed this courthouse, every single inch, particularly inside, outside, when it comes to security, parking, what we need. I personally have spent hours drawing out what we need. So I just want to let you know, I would not be asking to close Johnson Street if I had not spent hours of my time knowing what our needs are. So thank you for your consideration.
Sean Kingsley.
Mayor, Council, my name is Sean Kingsley, 621 North Main Street, and business owner at 107 West Nash Street, known as Tar River Interiors. We come from a unique situation where we are actually neighbors to the building that is being proposed for the growth for the future courthouse. I know that building very well. My wife and I were part of that building in terms of owning it. We did sell that building to the county, and some may look at it as favorable, some unfavorable. We had opportunities where people have approached us where they want to put office space downstairs and housing up above, that maybe just wasn't suitable for what could be seen for the downtown. We're about growth. We're about development. We're about going forward and making progress. After all, isn't that why it survives? Isn't that how we go forth and, we have taxes, we look to strive and, gain progress? Long-windedly, I guess I'm just saying, Johnson Street, if we don't look at this opportunity to closure and have the growth that we need as this county, I agree with many people here today that, we could see a downtown that could struggle. And like many have said, it may not be immediate. It may be 5 years, it may be 6 years. I know what it's like to be a brick and mortar owner, and it's hard. You get in there, you put a lot of sweat equity in, little blood, little sweat, little tears. Change is hard. Change is hard for our community, and change is hard for growth. But I ask you guys to consider, please, consider the growth going forward, consider what we need to do for our community. And let's do the right thing and look at this as an opportunity where we actually have control over this growth instead of being forced into a situation. Thank you.
John D. Macon.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Neal and Town Council, Town of Louisburg. My name is John D. Macon. My address is 1210 Morris Pond Road. I am near Louisburg, but I am in Franklin County, and I do spend tax dollars in Louisburg, so I feel like I have a voice in this. To nobody's surprise, I am here as a proponent for keeping the judicial centers in city center where they belong at. I feel like that if you move the courthouse to the outer rim of town, what you're going to experience is urban decay. And if you want to see the consequences of urban decay, take a look at Zebulon, North Carolina right now. Zebulon hardly looks any different right now than it did 30 to 35 years ago. They've tried to do the best that they can to make improvements to downtown, to encourage businesses to come to downtown, but it really doesn't look very much any different. So that's the consequence that you would suffer if you decide to move the judicial complex out of town. Therefore, what I'm wanting you to do is I implore you, I'd like to think that me speaking up here tonight is going to reach one of you, at least one of you, maybe more of you. I implore you that when you go to take this vote, that you use your common sense and you choose economic bias over financial bias. And what I mean by that is that you look at the downtown the way it is right now, and you invest in what's here and not try to take it apart. And rather than to move, use financial bias and move the courthouse out of town. So therefore, I say, you close Johnson Street, you let the county pay for those improvements, like was agreed to by the town of Louisburg, and keep Louisburg great. Thank you very much.
Jacqueline Henry.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. My name is Jacqueline Henry. I live at 102 Hill Street. And I came up to originally address speaking because I wanted to speak to something that's already been taken care of. But I did want to say that I think that in hearing what everybody's saying now, I want to speak to it, but I don't want to speak too much to it because I don't have enough information about why they want to close the street and what it would benefit for the court to be near Walmart. I do know that ever since I was a child, every court building I've been was downtown. That's what makes downtown downtown. And then if you wanted to stay downtown and profitable and growing, it should stay downtown. Now, if there's something going on that's dangerous for it to be there, or it needs fixing or repair, then I feel like that's what everybody should get together and do what needs to be done to fix it so it can remain the way it is. The biggest thing I felt to address was the homelessness and the transportation and all that stuff, because a lot of people, I don't think, are thinking about what we're supposed to do as humans and Christians, or people who just care about people in general. And I want people to ignore what color they see, what sexuality they see, what financial status they see. If somebody is hurting and struggling and in trouble, it doesn't matter what the situation is or how it got that way. What you do is you fix it. You help. You do whatever you can do to help whoever it is, wherever it is, and then later you look at what caused the problem and try to address it. And as human beings, for anyone to not want to do this hurts my spirit, because I'm watching animals do it. I'm watching cats play with birds, and dogs play with cats, and bears play with lions, and animals fought with each other from ever since I can remember. And now they're getting together. Ones that didn't even like each other. And they're hugging each other, and they're playing with each other. And the cow is feeding the horse so the babies can live. How can we watch animals do that? And we human being people supposed to have hearts and love. And we willing to walk away and watch people hurt just because we think it's not our responsibility or our obligation. And on Hill Street, our road is breaking. Can y'all fix it? Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. Next is Freddie Edwards.
Freddie Edwards, 121 Edgewood Drive. My speech will be somewhat changed tonight from what I had planned because we have been out coached tonight. The visiting team has brought the throng with them. Until tonight, out of 3,500 residents in Louisburg, not one person that ever spoke in favor of closing Johnson Street. These people that did tonight are not representative. They're not Louisburg residents. They may live in Louisburg, but they've been recruited by the county office tonight. And I'm not all that opposed to building the courthouse. I'm just opposed to closing Johnson Street for the future of Louisburg. The courthouse is fine if they'll just modify it a little bit. I see that they conceded to do the infrastructure. That's great. I'm not opposed to the building. They just make it look a little neater and conform within the block. There's no reason the building can't be built. I concede that the vote's already in. The word is out on the street, the votes are in, so I concede. But the building can be built without closing Johnson Street. It doesn't take a civil engineer to figure that out. I will point out one or two things I was planning to say in my original speech. I was here, I've always been here, but I was here when Johnson Street opened. They erected a no U-turn sign on Nash Street at the intersection of Church. A little trivial thing here, but you might as well take the sign down now, because West Nash Street essentially becomes a dead-end street with no other way to get out of downtown Louisburg without going through the residential section. I don't see how you're gonna close Johnson Street and keep it open for emergency vehicles when you give away the property. You may be able to do it, I just don't believe it. But again, I hate to repeat myself, but they can build it without closing it. Even with these few that are ringers that were brought in tonight, I still contend, and I challenge you to, even if I lose, I'll still try. I will assure you that over 3,000 residents of Louisburg, your constituents, are not in favor of closing Johnson Street. There may be 40 that are in favor of it for some ulterior motive, because you won't tell us why you want to close it, just because of Johnson Street. And yes, we can have both. We can have the courthouse and we can have Johnson Street. But the county could not close Johnson Street. DOT could not close Johnson Street. Only the council can close it. As a matter of fact, only 4 people can close it. Do you really want to be one of those 4 people? I hope the vote tonight will be a roll call vote. We know who you are, but I'd like it documented for future generations to know. I'm not trying to run this courthouse away. I want to keep voting.
Jolinas and Edwin Rodriguez.
Hey, good evening. My name is Edwin Rodriguez. I live in 202 East Noble Street. I'm here with my wife. We've been in town for about 5 or 6 years already. Love the community, love the atmosphere, have our roots here. We're in favor of closing Johnson Street because we want downtown to stay as close to what it is right now. Also, I don't know, sorry. Kind of looking at comprehensive plan 2030, kind of aligns with having downtown be government businesses and whatnot, and then having other businesses kind of be helping. So I just wanted to say that, that's kind of with Project 2030. So anyways, sorry.
My name is Jolinas Rodriguez. I also live at 202 East Noble Street. As my husband said, we have lived here for 6 years. We're raising our family here. We are in favor of the road closure and for the courthouse to stay at its current location. We do believe that we have heard both sides, and we do believe that by the courthouse staying where it's at, that more businesses will come and more people will come to live in Louisburg. And as a family, we always want more family to be here. So thank you.
Gail Ragland. Ms. Ragland. Is she here? Oh.
Good evening, Councilman, ladies and gentlemen. I really did not know I was up to speak. The only thing I have to say is, I was born and raised in Franklin County, and we've always went downtown. The courthouse has always been downtown. At one time, we had more business than what we have now. And moving the courthouse, I don't think it would be a good idea, because you do have the attorneys and all the people that used to go in downtown. So to me, moving it, I don't think it's a good idea. And for as Nash Street, people use Nash Street to go to court. You find more people on Nash Street on court days than you do in other days. And like they say, maybe sometimes they go down there to go to the park, wherein they could use the other way. So to me, it would be a good idea to be able to keep the courthouse downtown and close Nash Street.
Ms. Ragland?
Could you give your address, please?
Oh, my address is 1069 Peace Smith Road, 27509.
Kelly London.
Kelly London, 210 Bun Road, Louisburg, 27549. To Mayor Neal, the members of the Louisburg Town Council, I come before you to ask for your support of the expansion of the judicial complex. I also ask that it remains downtown Louisburg so that its removal will not have a negative impact on the growth and development of our town. As a former county commissioner who voted to approve this project, I did so because I thought about how it would improve the county and its. While our courthouses are doing its best to accommodate the public on a daily basis, it is filled with its challenges, from mold to space issues, to name a few. In closing, Franklin County is one of the fastest growing counties in our state. I know that this expansion has caused this, but I ask that you all find common ground and continue to help build and expand a better Louisburg. Thank you for your time.
Michael Norris.
I'm Michael Norris. I'm actually from Wake Forest. Thanks for listening to me tonight. I walked in and signed the sheet. I thought it was an attendance sheet, so. I just came to observe what was going on both sides tonight. I currently own 210 Nash, the restaurant downtown. I have two restaurants in Wake Forest, and I was looking to expand, and everyone told me to go to Franklin. I went to Franklinton and I made an offer on a building, and we couldn't come to an agreement. And then someone said, have you looked at Louisburg? And I've never been to Louisburg. This was 3 years ago. So I came up and I looked and I saw boarded up buildings. There was a diner, it was boarded up. The one next to it was boarded up. But there was a lot of traffic downtown with the courthouse. So I reached an agreement with, it was formerly Tonic. Reached an agreement with the landlord to lease it for 2 years to see if there was actually retail here for a restaurant. And the first week was unbelievable. People were coming in thanking us for opening up and being open for lunch. You guys might think I just have money on my mind, but I'm a businessman. I like to expand and help out. And this community is on the precipice of really blowing up. And that's why I came here. And I had no hesitation to buy the building, which I did a month and a half ago. Excuse me. I was kind of blindsided by this yesterday morning. So I did talk to a couple people, and I decided to go online and see both sides of this, because I don't know what was going on. So I Googled the town council and the courthouse in Louisburg. And the first thing that came up was, what is Louisburg known for? And it said historic district. And every story had the iconic courthouse in their story. That's your hallmark in this town. You guys move that out of town, I don't know what's going to happen downtown. I'll survive. I've got other investments and stuff like that. We have a decent dinner business. Lake Royale comes down, but excuse me. And then we do well on the weekends. But if you kill the lunch business, you're going to cut the traffic to all the little hobby shops, coffee shops, stuff like that. Anyway, but what I did observe tonight is it seems like everyone wants the courthouse to stay downtown. The issue is Johnson Street. Why can't you just keep Johnson Street open and fix the courthouse? That's a common theme here with everyone. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Okay, sir, could I ask you to give your address, please?
210 East Nash.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bobby Cooper.
Good evening, Bobby Cooper, 701 North Main Street. I've been paying attention to what's going on for years, as you know. The issue, what I resent about this, the way this is handled, lawyers, judges, politicians understand how lawfare works and how the process is the punishment. And that's what it's come to here. What's really just, it's reduced to a binary decision. Either keep the courthouse or it moves, all hinging on Johnson Street. And the flaw in that story is that the local community and the council was never included in these plans. So but this is the fact, okay? If the county says we're taking our marbles and leaving after bullying the town as severely as they have, the truth is, the land that you're talking about south of Walmart is wooded. It's not had any environmental studies. It's going to be expensive for the county to do. It's impractical. And none of these lawyers want to leave their offices here in town and get in their car and drive down there to go to court. They want to walk across the street and go into the courthouse. That's a given. That's the way it should be. But they've put it into a binary status that the only way you can do that is if you close Johnson Street. And that's crap. That's not the way it goes. If you included the town community, our historic district from the beginning, instead of sneaking it into packets without discussion, with an MOU that was never discussed, that was just slammed in, that's vague. You've got a contract probably sitting out here that's never been vetted, and your MOU was wide open. It also is very slanted and in favor of the county. The county's is flush with cash right now because one of their big resources is all the growth. When this project started in 2016-17, when Kim Denton was hired as the assistant county manager, one of the first things she did was got with this architectural firm, and they were assessing growth. When that was done, they projected our county would be at 80,000 people in 2045. We will pass 80,000 people before 2030. By 2045, we'll be at 150,000. The courthouse, the old courthouse, historic courthouse, has been there 145 years. In 95, the annex was added. Within 10 years, that was already outdated. So you're about to build another thing that's going to be outdated in 20 years. But the problem is the county
Your time is up now. Your 3 minutes is up.
You can do both. You can keep the counties.
Your 3 minutes are up, Mr.
Downtown.
Cooper. Thank you.
You don't have to close before Johnson's.
Page Sales.
Good evening, Paige Sales, 106 Jeffers Drive, Louisburg. I've been all over the map with this discussion. At first I thought, well, what's the big deal? I started listening to residents. I started listening to business owners. I listened to property owners. I listened to the people who are downtown. I mean, some people, one of the speakers said, well, they're attorneys. Well, yes, they're attorneys. They own property downtown and they have a large business. I've come to believe it's in the town's best interest to close Johnson Street. Part of that is because if you look at the empty buildings, we have a lot of empty buildings already. We really don't need any more. The idea that some magical investor is going to come down and swoop into Louisburg and fix it up is probably fantasy. And if it does happen, it probably is not going to happen within the next 5 to 10 years. We need this, excuse me, I believe we need this judicial complex to support the growth that our town and our county is going to see in the near future. And I think it's important. And to accomplish that, if you can close Johnson Street, that's one way to do it. I also have heard the county come back and say, we will offer you this. We will give you fair market value for that property and we will pay for the infrastructure that needs to be repaired. That's a compromise. And I think that's a fair way to look at things. I don't think whoever wins and gets everything they want, I can tell you right now, they lose all the way around. Everybody loses when that happens. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you, Dustin. I want to thank all of the citizens who came out tonight to voice your comments. Thank you. So, move on to item number 7, the swearing in. We have a new Louisburg finest police officer, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce him to the public as well as swear him in to our office.
Everyone, when we had multiple officers retire in the summer of '24, it left our patrol division a little short. We hired a few since then, the latest being Sam Mark. He comes to us straight from basic law enforcement training out of Onslow County. He's here with his wife Elizabeth, his kids Michael, Anna Elizabeth, and Sophie. Wife Heather. Heather. Oh, Heather.
Yeah. Officer Markham. Okay.
Just about.
Being that we didn't have a Bible here and I phone that has scripture, have that open as well. Sure, that would be appropriate as well. Would you like to hold that and I'll swear you in? Okay. See, Officer Markham has his family with him. The future, Louisburg. Well, and we're going to take this oath, and I like for you to take your name. I, Samuel Markham, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state. That I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice. That I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer according to the best of my skill, abilities, and judgment. So help me God. So help me God. Officer Markham, thank you. Louisburg County. Okay. Item number 8 on the agenda, report from the EDC committee.
I know on your agendas it says Hinton. Will cannot be here tonight, so I am speaking on behalf of the Economic Development Committee. We just had a few things that we wanted to bring to your attention. We weren't sure how much you were getting from us as far as our minutes, our notes, things we've discussed. It's really just two main things. We recently discussed the town hosting a NCDOT trash cleanup. They call it a litter sweep. Basically the NCDOT will pay for this. It's all volunteer run through the town. The next one coming up is the last 2 weeks in April. They also do this the last 2 weeks in September. You can sign up on the website. Each county has a coordinator. The NCDOT supplies you with the bags, signage, tools, pretty much everything you need. Youngsville has done this for quite a while. I don't know how they're started, but it's now like just a huge town thing. It's not just in city limits. If Louisburg wanted to start within city limits and grow from there, it's something that could really be helpful to the growth in this town. There is the streets, there's lots of places where there's just trash, litter, up and down sidewalks, broken things. At the very least, the cigarette butts are really bad for the environment. They're bad for birds, wildlife. It just makes a much more inviting town. The NCDOT will come and pick up those trash bags as well. So it truly is a volunteer coordinated effort. All it requires is our time to do it. The next thing is opening up the alleyway between the Lumpkin building and the buildings owned by Thomas Denton here in town. That alleyway is currently gated off and there are some trash cans at the end, and it is an eyesore to downtown. People walking by, they get the whiff, the smell of the trash. It looks trash. If we could remove those gates, clean up the alleyway, you can install lights. You can install safety lights that just face down in case someone takes those apartments. You could even put on a little, ambiance up there with some like fancy string lights, anything to open it up. But that gives access from the parking lot behind Town Hall to downtown, especially during events. You have more parking, people aren't walking all the way around. It just makes for easier access. It really will open up downtown, we believe, a great deal. And the other thing is just, we invite town council members to attend our meetings. We know you can't all come together. Our next one is March 3rd, 4 p.m. at Town Hall. We do typically meet the week before the town council meeting on a Monday. That way you can get our minutes, you can get our notes. But we would like to be able to have someone come present, talk about 1 or 2 key points. That way the town is kept up to date. As your Economic Development Advisory Committee, we really do have a lot of opinions from all parts of aspects of Louisburg, and we really would like for you to hear some of our thoughts and see what goes on in that conversation.
I have a
yes.
comment. We did get some of your minutes to some of the earlier meetings. I don't think that they've been in our packet lately. As far as the cleanup day, I had suggested that last year. I thought that was a fabulous idea for our community.
Yes.
I think it's something that we can start out maybe downtown and expand.
Yes.
I know that you guys were also working on, we had the discussion last month regarding a bus. Has there been any progress on that?
We haven't discussed any of the ideas like that without Mr. Stover. being present. He has more of the details, so we focused on a few other things. But it will be something when we have details, we can discuss it further. But what we are reminded of and what we try to focus as is advisory. You know, we can put our thoughts together and tell you what we think. But that's as far at this point as we're gonna go, is just advising. And without more details on that, we have nothing really to
Bus was
report.
bought last
Yeah.
month.
If we did,
Yeah.
awesome.
And, I am on the committee.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, one of the reasons I wasn't at the last meeting is just what you heard.
Yes.
Because we were in closed session discussing this very issue.
That's why we saved some of that stuff until
Right.
you came back for the
So
full.
I will be attending future meetings unless we have another controversy that requires my attention.
March 3rd at Town Hall at 4 p.m.
And that meeting is open to the public.
Yes.
So anybody who wants to attend, welcome to attend.
Andrew, would it be possible to email those comments to us? Like, I don't need to hand out my packet,
Yes.
but to at least have.
Yes, especially the stuff with the litter suite project. I have all the details put together. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 9, the appointment of the interim finance officer. Mr. Medlin.
Mayor, Town Council, tonight in front of you is a resolution appointing an interim finance officer, which at this point would be myself as town administrator. North Carolina General Statute 159-24 states that each local government and public authority shall appoint a finance officer who is responsible for providing financial safeguards and ensuring the duties of the position are adequately and efficiently covered. Currently, the town is not in compliance with this law, as the departure of Ms. Waldron a few months ago. I was residing as the deputy, but after some discussion with the School of Government and the LGC, it was determined that we need to have an interim finance officer at this time.
Sean, who would be the other alternative if you were not to do it?
I mean, anyone could probably be selected, but they'll be responsible for a lot of stuff that involves the finances, and then they could even be on the hook personally if something goes wrong.
But there's no question between you being the town administrator
No.
and this role also?
No.
He included a copy of the statute, and it does say that, here, sorry. So cities not having the manager form of government may impose the duties of budget officer on any city officer or employee, including the mayor, if he agrees to undertake them. So it does sound like it allows for administrator or any other employee or perhaps council member to take them on.
Mr. Medlin, does that mean that you're bonded also?
I would be.
You would.
That you, from the departure of our finance director last fall to the current date, you had not been, or we will bond you now?
I will be bonded now again. I was bonded before I became the town administrator.
Right.
And then during that process, Reuben Carden was bonded. Jackie never bonded herself. So we were open to whatever liability at that point. And now, after doing research and finding out, once I go in as interim, I will only be interim for less than roughly 30 days.
I was gonna say, and
Yeah.
I saw in the packet that we've hired a director, so at that point, they'll become that.
They will become, and then they'll be bonded.
Any other questions from the council? If not, could I get a motion to for appointing Sean?
I make a motion to appoint Mr. Sean Medlin as the interim finance officer for the town of Louisburg.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and properly second that we appoint Sean Medlin as our interim finance officer. That's per the general statute 159-24 for the state code. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I still do it. Okay. We got it here. All right, and as a result of that, see, again, along with this being a bonded position, it is also one that is required an oath. And I will read that oath right here, okay? And start with, I state your name.
I, Sean Medlin,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as finance officer, so help me God.
as finance officer, so help me God.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Moving on. Item number 10. It's adoption of ordinance authorizing the town administrator as the budget officer. Sean, could you explain that and the difference?
Mayor, Town Council, thank you. As we went through this process with the finance, several things were looked at during this process, and our code of ordinances are very dated. And in the process, we found that when the code of ordinance was originally adopted back, I think in the 70s, for this portion, and this was pre-Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act 159-9, the town automatically appointed the town administrator as the budget officer. In this case, I'm requesting that we update this resolution and ordinance to include that the town administrator will remain as the budget officer, since they're heavily involved with each department and understanding what their needs are. And with my finance background, I thought it would behoove us to continue that process. If we were a bigger organization and had a department, we could actually name someone in that case. But in this case, 159-9 states that I do have the eligibility to hold that role. So I'm requesting that the town accept this and move to adopt the ordinance that I become the budget officer.
Any questions for the council?
So you'll remain that even after the finance director?
Yes.
And whom all do we have that can sign checks at this point since Mr. Slater left?
It's myself, the mayor, and Mr. Slater were the only three that we had. So at this point, it's the mayor and myself.
And then the new finance
Yes,
person?
the new finance person will go.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, could I get a motion to adopt that ordinance, please? It's been moved and properly second that we adopt the ordinance authorizing the town administrator to be our budget officer as explained by him. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So be it. Thank you. Okay. Item number 11, adoption of the amended budget ordinance.
Mayor, Town Council, thank you. Again, as we work through this process and working with the School of Government, determining that our budget officer precluded the current 159-9, it was suggested by the local School of Government. I worked with the local government commission as well and deemed that it would behoove us as a town to readopt an amended budget ordinance. It's the same budget ordinance, but it should be amended at this point just because it's beyond the typical time frame that we have. So I'm just asking that the board would take this budget amendment ordinance and adopt it so we would be in compliance.
It's the same budget.
Yes, sir.
Officially now.
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Bevelin,
Yes.
so this is the budget that we approved,
Okay.
but some of the numbers that are on this aren't on this. There,
And I will say, I checked what was in the system, and that was not input by me in the system. That would have been Ms. Waldron, but I just took what was in the system and worked back to what the system had. So if that does not match, then I would have to go back to see what occurred under Ms. Waldron's.
because there's some
term.
totals that
Okay.
align, but when you look at, say, the governing body and the administration and stuff like that, these totals aren't the same as that. So I know that we sat down and spent a lot of time on the budget last year, and it's almost time for a new one. But these, so the numbers that are on here are what
What are in the system?
are in the
Yeah,
system.
that are in our financial system, yes, ma'am.
So if I asked you to print a new one of these off for me tomorrow, it will jive with these numbers that are on this printout?
I would print one from the system, not that.
See, there have been input in the system by the previous finance person. So these things, and one of the reasons why we'll be getting into compliance, making sure we're in compliance. The discrepancies, is something that can be fixed, and that is the reason why you may see a difference in some of your numbers, because there had, inputs by the previous unbonded finance person. That's where you may see your discrepancy.
So the other statement that is on the back page of this states that you can transfer appropriations between the expenditures and the departments up to $100,000. Is that a general?
That's a standard, yes, ma'am.
Standard.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, Council? If not, could I get a motion to adopt that budget order? It's been moved and properly second that we adopt the amended budget ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Item number 12, the adoption of an order to close Johnson Street. As we've heard tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with the public input, comments, given their opinion on this, as well as the comment from the county manager as well, indicating that the county would pay 100% of construction costs. I mean, not construction costs, utility costs. And that includes most of the, all of the underground utilities and, water and sewer pipes, anything that's associated with the infrastructure of that building. This motion is upon us, and let me say as well, we are at the precipice of making a decision that will affect the future of Louisburg for years and years to come. Just as the gentleman explained, you can get two answers for the same question. I am an optimist. I see this decision as one that, as a result of this decision, citizens will say, gee, what has Louisburg done? And it would be, in my view, as an expression that we did a very, very good thing for the city of Louisburg. So, any other questions before we ask for the motion to adopt, to move forward on this?
Mayor, can I ask a question to the county for just some clarity on what was stated by Mr. Bunn? And it can it can be Gino or Mr. Bud. The phrasing that you read was that you would pay 100% of relocation of infrastructure. Is there any revising that statement? And the reason why I say that is if you could read your statement again, I believe it referenced underground infrastructure perhaps. Not all infrastructure will be underground, and there's a great expense for the infrastructure of this facility. So is there any leniency in your statement wherein you would not just limit it to replacement or underground, but you would state any and all infrastructure, period? Well, that's what I was looking for.
I'm just pulling out the
It's fine.
proposed contract because this is what I told the Board of Commissioners.
Yes.
About, and the language is very general in the agreement that we proposed. The language is that we'll be moving, we would agree to, or the county would agree to pay for 100% of the cost necessary to move the underground utilities that span from Nash Street to West Johnson Street that is needed to be moved. I talked with some of the Board of Commissioners today and I clarified because I knew that was a question that came from the town, was did that include sewer, electricity, and water? So I added that to Mr. Bunn's statement when he read that out to you. So it's very general. It's any utilities that need to be relocated in order to accommodate the judicial complex.
So the statement is relocated. So there is a lot of new infrastructure that we will be adding to support the complex. So what your statement is not going to cover any of that. So I'm looking for clarity.
I don't have my board here.
I understand that, but and I'll just throw this in as a ringer. I support it staying downtown. I get that relationship. I used to work in the court system. I understand all this. My point of view is about the town paying for something and the taxpayers. And personally, I don't feel as though Johnson Street had to be closed. I understand that we are under the premise of the previous agreement in which I would have never considered, but I can't take back, right? Is there any consideration from the county to state any and all infrastructure cost? Because to be fair, the town has done nothing to prepare for any infrastructure costs for the county. And we're under the umbrella of the LGC, in which I'm not positive how we would pay for it right now regardless. So you have some stipulation words in here that are what is hindering me, because that still gives responsibility to the taxpayers, in which I'm a no for that. I would also propose that we close Johnson Street, but we retain the lot for future growth and development of the downtown. That lot would be a lot more valuable to this community if we could put it back on the tax books. That's my own point of view, but I understand there's been drawings that you guys aren't willing to alter. I understand your point of view also, but is there any consideration to change the verbiage so that this gets
taken as an amendment to the 2021 agreement? And so that's where we were just looking at that span of relocation. Originally, the town in 2021 had agreed to pay for that relocation. And so we were just taking over that expense. Since I only have 2 board members here, I don't have a way of speaking to what the board would do. So I mean, this is what we're agreeing to at this time.
Then would you advise us as a council to go along with this agreement that you've seen that was emailed to the council members Saturday night that we have not, as a collective, had a discussion about. Would you advise us to go along with this?
Well, that was an opinion that everyone had reviewed.
We've not had a discussion regarding it, and I'm asking if you, in your opinion, would you advise us, knowing our status, do you advise us to go fulfill this agreement?
Well, if you want to keep the courthouse idea, I think you better do it.
Any other questions from the council?
I'd like to comment.
Yes.
This has been the most difficult decision I've had to make since coming on the council by far. I have struggled with this for the past 3-4 weeks. I think there is an awful lot that was done wrong, mostly by the county, but also on our side. I think we could have worked this out a lot better if there'd been a lot more communication between the county and the town. But that's water under the dam. I can't change that. So we have to move on from here. Politics is the art of compromise. I think we've forgotten that in this country. And we have batted this back and forth, and I think we've come to a point where we've come up with a reasonable compromise. I don't want to see Johnson Street closed, and I also don't want to see the courthouse moved. I can't have my cake and eat it too. We've got to make a decision, all right? There's no clear answer. I mean, you've heard both sides. Is it going to hurt us downtown, or is it going to help us? I think that's up for, I don't think anybody knows for sure. I think if the courthouse leaves, yeah, it's probably going to hurt us initially. But there are a lot of folks that think long-term it would be good for the downtown. But long-term, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, and can we wait that long? And there's a lot of folks here that have a lot of time and money invested in downtown. I think we'll get hurt in that process. So taking that all together, I know no matter what decision I'm going to be, as my wife said, I'm going to be damned if I do and damned if I don't. So all I can do is try to make the best decision for the town of Louisburg based on my assessment of the situation. And I think it's time to move on. I want to see the courthouse stay here. I hate to see Johnson Street closed, but I think that's a small price to pay. I think we have gotten assurances from the county that we're not going to get stuck with $1 million bill for moving utilities. And we're going to get a fair market price for the piece of land. I disagree. I think once you close Johnson Street, that land is not going to be particularly particularly developable because you're only going to have a very small area to access it. And I just don't see that happening in the near future anyway. So I strongly support that we move forward with this compromise with the county, and let's get on with it.
No.
My only suggestion is, in keeping with the Johnson Street name, that it was named after the first Black sheriff, Arthur L. Johnson. And I ask that in some way that when the county decides to build the courthouse, that you keep in honor of Mr. Arthur L. Johnson, who was the first African-American sheriff in Franklin County. I do ask that you honor him in some way. And my second thing is the same energy that y'all are going at about the judicial system county. I ask that I challenge y'all to have the same energy when it comes to recreation for the town, for the county itself. You're pushing about the judicial complex, but let's see more recreation because people are pushing for recreation. So I challenge y'all to have that same energy when it comes to recreation, not just basketball, football, but a recreation complex that everybody can use. That's my only suggestion.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Could I get a motion to adopt an order close Johnson Street? It's been moved and properly second that we adopt an order to close Johnson Street. All in favor, I ask that you raise your hand. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. All opposed? It has passed. The order to close Johnson Street is now officially done. And as she said there, I hope this is a continuing of a beginning of a good working relationship between the town and county. Never before have we engaged in such a project of this magnitude before. This is the first time that we've done something like this, and let's, in the words of some, let's make it great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Item number 13, the administrative report.
Mayor, Town Council, just wanted to let you know that construction improvements continue at 124 North Main. If you've not ridden by, please do so. The town has received the aquatic species survey report that was required at the industrial park. It appears that there will be no impacts to the critical habitats in the project area. The town will continue working with necessary agencies to continue that project. New finance.
A year and a half to get that.
That is correct. So we got
Our $2 million grant.
we got good news that we can, yeah. A new finance officer has been hired. Her slated start date is February the 19th. She will be coming to us from numerous years with the city of Durham. So she will be coming with us on February the 19th. I would like to take a moment to thank all staff during the recent snow event for their contributions in keeping citizens' ability to drive and be accessible to what our accommodating needs were. I appreciate that. I will give you an audit update. First, I want to clarify a couple things for the public. I know there's a lot of rumor and I know there's a lot of social media posts going out that the local government commission has full control of us. That is not true. The local government commission is here to assist us as we are on the unit's assistance list. That means that we do not have audits in. We're working diligently to get those audits submitted. We currently are working on fiscal year 22-23. Our auditors that are doing this audit were in our office yesterday and today. So we are working diligently with them to get this complete. So I just want to clarify that LGC is assisting us to get these audits in. However, we still operate as the town of Louisburg. We still make our business decisions. The only thing I will say is they do limit our borrowings. However, we still operate as the town of Louisburg and function as we always have. I will let you know, I work with a weekly one-on-one with the LGC. We were supposed to have one this past Monday. However, because the auditors were in, that was most important. And so I will have one tomorrow with them. I have notified them that as of today, as of this meeting, we would have on the agenda the interim finance officer, which has been rectified, the budget officer, and the budget ordinance. Those were some of the adequate things that they wanted and to see that it was taken care of. So we've done that. And then as far as providing information, again, today, the auditors were in yesterday, and today we've provided a tremendous amount of data to them, and they feel confident that they will have us a draft report in March. So I will keep you all updated on that. And also, town offices will be closed on Monday, February the 17th in observation of President's Day. This is a new holiday for the town. It was a part of our personnel policy that was adopted in 2023. So we will be observing President's Day this year. However, I will let you know, the auditors will be back on Monday. So I will be in the office working with them on Monday. So you know we're diligently working to accommodate this and get this taken care of. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to call me, call the office, and I'll take the time to talk with you. So
you mentioned last month we might have a draft out in March. Are we still in track for that?
we are. Yeah, we are. And they've given an update that depending on how things go and how quickly we can get it, they should have 23, 24 by the end of June. And then we'll be on track to be on time in the fall of the year. So we're working diligently to get this accomplished. So.
Mr. Bevelin, any idea when we might be getting financials again?
Hopefully sooner than later. We've got a new finance officer starting. We do have the former finance director that was my predecessor, Steve Stanton. He's been working. Multiple errors occurred, and so we're doing a lot of cleanup right now. So that's why you don't have financials. We're just reviewing and moving diligently to get this done. And even with working with the LGC, it's almost that we'll just bring one as current as we get, and then just give you that. We won't do monthlies like we have. We'll just get to a month, provide it, and then I'll start. I mean, I'll provide them once we get some good numbers. So if we get 2 months, you may get 2 months at one time or whatever, but we'll work to get those included to you.
At the last meeting, you had stated that you would be emailing us weekly LGC updates.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on the audit, so I thought you guys would hopefully understand that, I will do my best to get those out to you on a weekly basis.
And also at the last meeting, you had stated that we had not yet paid the PTO time that we designated back in December. Is that?
We're working diligently to get that all rectified. So.
Yeah, there's a big backlog out there. So
Just need to know where I'm at.
we're working to catch all of that up.
Hey, do we have a completion-ish or an idea of when the Main Street project will be done?
On 24 North Main?
Yeah.
Should be probably into March 1st of April is what they're giving us a tentative completion date.
March 1st.
The end of March, probably April 1st, end of March, April 1st. They're giving us that.
The sidewalk.
Unless something major happens, no weather impacts it. We got rain today, tomorrow. I mean, those impact us.
Number 14 is the mayor's report. Last month, I was working, attended a lot of Martin Luther King Day ceremonies. I spoke at a couple of events honoring the life of Dr. Martin Luther King. Attended the ceremony at the St. Paul Presbyterian Church along with other officials, state officials, and county. So that was a great event. So most of my time was at those events there for January. That was my report at that time. Okay, item number 15, a police report. Chief.
Mayor, Council, I'm going to keep it brief. Some notable investigations that Ms. Stein pointed out, I missed in your list. There was a shooting in South Main Street. The investigation to that is ongoing. We did have a robbery of Sheets. We had a female suspect arrested within the hour on that call. Also,
Robbery?
Sorry?
Was that an armed robbery?
Yeah, with I want to recognize Detective Ellie Coker for completing the first of 3 classes for FBI LEADA. It's a supervisory institute. This is a trio of classes that are taught by law enforcement professionals from all over the country. Gives a different perspective and best practices. Officer Horn is in the 4th week of canine training that runs through the end of the month. I also, Ms. Stein has talked about in previous meetings, the hospital and having patients run out. I sat in on a meeting that they're going to start construction in July of 2025 to secure some rooms inside the ER, so that should no longer be an issue.
Thank you. The fire report will be in your packet for your review. So.
Here.
Oh, he had asked that. Yeah, he had asked that. Nothing. Yeah. So
What
just
if we want to ask him questions?
I don't really got anything.
So he said we can just review the packet there in the packet. Thank you. All right, item number 17, council comments. Councilman Clancy.
I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. That's it.
Councilwoman Baker.
I'll echo that. Thank you for coming, with your feedback as always, especially with regards to this judicial center project. I know it's been very controversial. And I do appreciate your feedback on both sides. It does help to get a perception of what public opinion truly is. I'll echo what Dr. Stover said, that we couldn't make everyone happy. There was a sense of damned if you do, damned if you don't. People I deeply admire and respect on both sides. I feel sorry that I may be disappointing you, but because we were faced with this binary choice, I had to do what, at the end of the day, after considering all the pieces, I felt was best for the future of our town. And that's where I'm at with that, but I do appreciate you coming out.
Councilwoman Wright.
I would also like to thank everybody for coming out, and I struggled with this thing too for over a week. But the last 3 nights, I was tossing and turning all night long because, like you said, the first 2 meetings we had with open forum, everybody was saying, do not close Johnson Street. Tonight, everybody came in saying, close Johnson Street. And, but I looked at the situation. I talked to a lot of people in the court system. And I'm here to represent Louisburg and to help build Louisburg. That's why I voted to close the street. And I just glad everybody came out tonight. So when you come to me, don't hit me in the back. Let me turn around to your face now before you try to strike. But I did attend the Black History program at the Senior Center last week, and I'm still continuing to work with the Carter Council of Government signing finances every Monday. And we did attend the banquet over in Youngsville on the night it snowed. Thank you all.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day this weekend. I think that this was a very difficult decision, and I think that 95% of it could have been levied with a good conversation where both parties should have sat down and years ago and done what was best for the community. I do hope it works out. I did want the judicial center to stay downtown, just not the way that this occurred. But thank you for coming out. Be careful going home.
Councilwoman Woods.
I would like to thank everyone for coming out. I'm so glad to see everybody's faces tonight. Thank you for the support and happy Black History Month.
Councilman Stover.
I feel like I've said enough tonight. My only plea is that if we've made a decision, whether you agree or disagree, let's move forward together and work to make this the best possible place to live. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, nothing else. Could I get a motion to adjourn? It's been moved and properly second that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Again, thank all of you for coming out tonight. Okay.